What's up, guys? Your boy DeAndre. You're here on Between the Lines. Today we're going to talk about the NFL, not just the NFL. We're going to talk about Drew Brees. And towards the end of the episode, we're going to talk about the NBA and how it's coming back and some of the format that they introduced to us. I'm not going to talk about that a lot because they didn't show everything that they're going to bring to Orlando. They didn't name most of the format. They just gave you like a broad idea of it. So we'll talk about that later on. But right now I'm going to talk about Drew Brees. So you guys don't know because I didn't talk about the NFL yet, but the Saints have been my favorite team ever since I was young. I grew up a Ravens fan because I was from Baltimore, and then I reached out because I always loved Reggie Bush ever since USC days. So he got drafted to the Saints, and then I think the year or two after that they won the Super Bowl. So I've been with them ever since then. So like I just always love every player that's on that team, and I always loved Drew Brees. But then he said something a couple days ago that set the world on fire. Just it added on to the fire that's already around in the world. Just made it bigger. And he has a lot of hatred right now for what he said. And I just think, well, he shouldn't have said it because right now it's the wrong time with all the stuff that's going on with George Floyd and Minneapolis, RP George Floyd, with all the police brutalities going on, the Black Lives Matter movement, all these protests and riots going on nowadays. He said at the wrong time when a lot of my people are angry right now, and when he said that just made them more angrier. Even his own teammates didn't like it. They called him out on it. So I'm gonna tell you what he said. He said he was asked on an interview. He was on an interview with Yahoo Sports. He was asked that when the NFL comes back, it's probably going to be a lot more kneeling during the Pledge of Allegiance like it was in 2016, I think. So it's probably going to be a lot more kneeling. And he was asked, how do you feel about that, knowing that you're a leader of this team and a leader of the league? Like, you're one of the best players in the league for a long time. So how do you feel about the kneeling? And he responded with saying he'll never accept or like disrespecting the flag during the national anthem. He'll always stand up, hand on your chest. He'll always do that because he feels like kneeling is a sign of disrespect to the flag. And he said he'll never respect it because his grandfather served in the World War II, and that just made him always respect the flag. That taught him never to disrespect it. So me, what I thought about it when I first heard it, I wasn't mad. I was disappointed because Drew Brees knows better. He's a veteran in this league, one of the smartest players in the league, and you can just see with all the stuff that's going on that was not the right thing to say. He asked that question, the interview guy. He asked the question. You didn't have to answer it with all the stuff that's going on right now. And if you look back on that, that was the wrong answer for what he said, because he didn't understand what Kaepernick and everybody else that was kneeling in 2016, he didn't understand what that meant. He thought it was a sign of disrespect to the flag, but he didn't understand that it wasn't that. It was a sign that us black people are getting judged more differently than any other race because of our skin, and it's something that we can't change. And we're seeing that we're getting targeted by police and the government and all this stuff. And Kaepernick was standing for that, well, kneeling for that. And Drew Brees didn't understand that. He thought it was just because, I guess, that he just didn't like the country, I guess. I don't know what Drew Brees thought. I just looked at it as he didn't understand it. But at the time, this wasn't the time to say it because everybody's down because how we're getting treated every day. And it sucks to be scared to go outside. And like, I have a car, I drive, so I'm just more cautious with it. Because what I see on TV, what I see on Instagram, Twitter, all social media, I see cops targeting black people because that's what's brought up. They don't show any of the good cops. If there's good cops, they don't show any of the good cops. They always just show the bad cops. So I make sure I'm more cautious when I'm driving and just make sure I don't break the rules so I wouldn't have to be in that position to a cop pulling me over maybe thinking I have something I don't have, and my life ending like that. So I just make sure I pay attention to my surroundings and know what I'm doing. Yeah, it was a horrible time to say that, and I know he was sorry for it. He said he was sorry yesterday. He made an apology. He said one thing that jumped out to me. What he said is, as my people, his people. He's saying that they should listen more instead of just saying, "Oh, what they're doing is wrong. Rioting and looting is wrong," because we don't understand it. He's saying we don't understand it because we're not them. You won't understand how a black person is until you live a black life. So he's saying that he didn't understand it at the time. Some of the players on his team talked to him, and they explained it to him, and now he understands. And he wish he didn't say that because himself, he's not a negative person, and he doesn't want to be labeled as an enemy. But now everybody sees him as an enemy because that was a bad comment to say what's going on right now. All the discrimination, looting, rioting. No, nobody liked what he said. I don't think nobody liked it. And it's going to be bad for that team because I don't know the emotions inside the locker room, but what he said, I see on Instagram and Twitter that a lot of his own players commented and said that one said he didn't understand and we'll let him know. One said you should have shut up, and one said we don't care about what you think. This is something that we've been fighting for I don't know how long, and for you to say that's just disrespectful. So I don't know how the chemistry on this team is going to look because we was one of the favorites to win the Super Bowl, and now we got this is like another roadblock that we have to face after we've been facing roadblocks the last 3 years where the refs not calling the right calls in the NFC Championship, us not making a wide open tackle for them to win the game. Like we had to go over so much roadblocks, and we finally got all the pieces together this year. And for this to happen at this time where the world is at a bad place right now, and for you to say that just breaks up the chemistry that we worked so long to build. And like now, I don't want it to get to the decision where not a lot of people want to play with Drew Brees because they don't like what he said. Now they have this thought of him that he might be somebody that's not with us, that's against us. And I don't want it to be to where they're going to have to decide, do we trade Drew Brees? Do we get rid of the players that don't want to play with Drew Brees? Because Drew Brees has been with us so long, and that's the loyalty we're going to stay with. But it's just something we're going to have to go over again. I don't want to get too much into what's going on in the world because that's been like depressing me for like a couple weeks. Stuff I see on the internet, I just try to stay off there because it always brings me down sometimes. But that just what happens. I decided I want to talk about this because it hit me close because that's my favorite team, one of my favorite players. So I just hope we can overcome it and get away from that situation and continue to do what we do. I just hope that the players forgive Drew Brees for what he said. He said he was sorry. He wrote a long apology saying he doesn't want to be the enemy. He wants to fight with each other. And I feel like I believe it, but it's a lot of people out here saying that, of course, when stuff gets brought to the light of you saying stuff like that's against us, you're going to say sorry to save face, to save that image that you have. And I hope it's not that. So, I don't know, man. I just hope we can recover from this. But to some good news, the NBA is coming back July 31st. They're taking 22 teams to Orlando to play on Walt Disney. They're gonna play there. They're gonna play 8 games to like get everybody settled. They're gonna have a 2-week training camp before that, but they're gonna play 8 regular season games to get everybody settled, to get people back in their rhythm, and then after that is going to be the playoffs. Now the West, they're taking 16 teams because at the bottom of the West you had the Suns, the Spurs, the Kings, Pelicans, Trailblazers, and the Grizzlies, they were all fighting for that 8th spot. So I'm guessing the NBA just thought for us to just go straight into the playoffs and take away 5 teams' chances to go into the playoffs when they were right there. They were like 5 games behind. That wouldn't be fair. So they said, let's take these extra 5 teams to Orlando, have a little tournament after the 8 regular season games that they play. They're going to have a little tournament, I guess, for that 8th seed to go into the playoffs. And then I know the East, they're taking 9 teams, so one more team that's usually in the playoffs. They're taking 9 teams. The Wizards, I don't know what they're going to do with them. I don't even know why they're taking them. They didn't deserve it. I think they were like 7 games behind the 8th seed, but I guess they just wanted to bring them in. So I heard that they doing this because they want Zion to be in the playoffs. Now, if you don't know who that is, Zion's one of the youngest talents in the league. He's basically the face of the league. He gets so much attention. I don't know how he deals with it because he gets a lot of attention. So I guess they wanted to do this so they can take Zion, and it's smart because you bring the face of the league back. You bring him to the playoffs his first year. You're getting a lot of people watching. They miss basketball. A lot of people's going to watch his first game, and that's money coming to the NBA. So it's smart for them. They get what they need. They get their money back. Not all of it, but that's a good fraction of it because Zion, everybody wants to see Zion play. Before this whole hiatus, he only played 15 games. So for him to jump right into the playoffs, if they make it to the playoffs, that would be money well spent for them. They'll get all their money back, most of it, because everybody's going to watch his games. And people don't like it because they say, why just bring it back just because of Zion? But like, they got to understand the NBA is a business. They need money too. And that's just one of the best ways to bring younger talents, the face of this league, to the playoffs and let him play and just watch. Everybody's going to watch that game. Everybody's going to watch all his games because he's just so good and he's so fun to watch for some people. So that's really smart on their part. And how I feel about them still playing and continue the NBA, like I said, it's cool and it's something I want to see. I want to see basketball. I can't wait to see basketball. But I just hope every player is safe. And I don't want no player to get the coronavirus if it's still out. Because I really haven't been hearing about it lately. But I don't want nobody to get the coronavirus because if one person gets the coronavirus, then they're just going to cut the season. And it's going to be like, all this was for nothing. Like, they shouldn't have never came to Orlando. They should have just cut the season in the first place. Because the amount of contact that they're going to come into they're going to be sleeping in hotels, the people that's already in the hotels, they're probably going to want something to eat. They're going to have to go out to get something to eat. And then you got to be in contact with trainers, coaches, your fellow players, referees. Like, it's so much people you're going to be in contact to and you don't know who has the virus. So you're going to have tests every day. I don't know if they got any better tests, but I heard the first test was like a cotton swab stuck up your nose, deep into your nose, and it's not like you just put it in there, you take it out. You put it in there, you let it sit for a little bit, then you take it out. So that hurt. I heard Spencer Dinwiddie, the point guard on the Nets, he said that really hurt, like it actually brought tears to his eyes. So I hope they got a better test so where you don't have to do that every day, because you're going to have to get the test every day to make sure you don't have it after the games, like when you go to the hotel or not. So I hope it's safe enough for the players to come back, and I hope that it's successful because, like I heard somebody say, this is like the building block for other sports. So let's say this works. Nobody gets the coronavirus. They make it to the end of the season. They're getting ready to start the new season. Then the NFL, the MLB, NHL, they're going to look at this like, all right, we could take the same steps they did to be successful with our business, and we don't have to worry about nobody getting sick because, like, we're just copying the blueprints that they laid down for us. So I really like what that guy said. His name, Pierre. He's on the Through the Wire podcast. You guys can go watch that if you want. They It really gave me motivation to start my own podcast. So I advise you guys to go watch that podcast. But that was a really smart point, saying that the NBA is like a building block for other businesses to start up. So that's basically it today. I don't want to give you so much advice on the NBA because I don't know I don't know if it's set in stone yet, but I think they're having a meeting Thursday. So let's see. Hopefully the NBA comes back and hopefully everybody stays safe. Hopefully that the Saints their locker room just coexist again. That a lot of people accept Drew Brees' apology, and we'll be back next time with the best 15 teams in the West. We're going to talk about every teams in the West and just talk about how I feel about them. So.
Twino got the recipe.